We finally got some rain, but of course the rain's during my usual ride time, but I was able to get a couple hours in, and within those 2 hours I did 95 minutes of middle endurance, right at 205 watts. So now I'm going to go in and do a Zwift race. Ordinarily I wouldn't have much problem with that. I could hang in with the group. Depending on the type of the group, maybe I could make some things happen. But now in the off season, where I'm doing a lot of leg work in the gym, primarily squats, deadlifts, Bulgarian squats, and I think RDLs, it's really tough. So I feel like a D plus or on the lower end of the C's usually when I've been doing this recently. But let's go in and see how I do. That clip that you just saw was taken on Sunday, and I did a Zwift crit after that. But I recorded it, but I screwed up on the recording, so I didn't have anything to show. So this is actually Tuesday, and the reason why I kept that clip is because the same concept still holds. Now, when I did that crit, I got dropped with 3 laps to go of 8 laps, but I hung on, and before anybody else can catch me, that was in back of me chasing. And so I actually did better than I thought I was going to do. But yeah, I was feeling those squats and deadlifts. So now this is Tuesday, like I'm saying. I'm in the B's, and I was in the B's in the other one. I was feeling a little more confident today than I was on Sunday. And since this was a 25-mile race, I figured these guys would not be starting off super strong. They did start off strong, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. Typically, when I look for a Zwift race to race, I look for something that's pretty flat. And with the choices they had around me, there was a lot of climbing in a number of the other races, or they were too short. They were shorter than I wanted to do. And so I saw this race, but it didn't list the amount of climbing that it was going to have. So I'm thinking, this is 25 miles. You're not going to have a lot of climbing, so I'll just do this and, whatever happens, happens. Well, the first thing that happened is that we started to climb. And I then started to slip back through the pack. Now, we had a total of about almost 100 racers there. And I was toward the front most of the ways, and now you can see I'm about halfway through there. I'm like around 40th place or so. And if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see my wattage is about 290, sometimes hitting 300 plus watts. My FTP, my 1 hour calculated FTP is 275 watts. And so I'm putting out some power here. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll get to the top, I'll stay connected to somebody, and then hopefully we'll reconnect with whoever's up ahead of us, and they're not too far up ahead of us. Now, again, I'm in the D's, and we're all racing together. I think there's about 25, 27 that are in the B's, and we may be the largest group. Jumping to the 25-minute mark, I'm still on that same climb. I'm now in 32nd place. I'm sure I've passed a few stragglers, and there's a lot of people that passed me. And I'm coming up on this guy that I've been riding with, and so he's trying to come back to me, and that's the Black Panther. And I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. So then I start talking to him a little bit. I'm thinking maybe I can get a little camaraderie going, and maybe that'll entice him to want to work together. And I say want to work together because even though we seem to be somewhat evenly matched, he seems to be stronger than I am. So I'm hoping that, I just don't get chopped. We get to the top and we're able to work together, and with this other guy too. I then start to work on the pity angle a little bit, saying that I'm an old guy. And then he says he's an old guy, so maybe he is. And I say, okay, well, hey, I'm 67. And so apparently for his response, he was younger than 67. A few minutes later, we finally get to the top, and I catch up to another guy, but the Black Panther, he's about 4 seconds in front of me. I have 2 other people with me, and so I'm hoping on the descent, and it is a long, fast descent, that we're going to be able to reconnect with the Black Panther, who, by the way, is from Kenya. Currently, I'm in 31st place overall, but I'm sure most of the B's are in front of me, if not all of them. I think I saw one back of me somewhere. The Black Panther, by the way, is a Category C. Somebody's going to need to upgrade that guy. At the 40-minute mark, we're about 50 feet into another climb. Now, we're showing 11 miles to go, almost 12 miles to go. Ordinarily, for a 25-mile race, we'd be just about done or getting close to like the last mile or two. But no, almost 12 miles to go. And that's because of all the climbing we've done. I put out a huge amount of energy on that first climb, and now I have another climb with a lot of miles to go. I have no idea how much climbing is going to be involved in this one. If memory serves me, I caught up to my 2 breakaway partners on the other climb. So I'm thinking that, yeah, I can climb a little better than these guys. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to catch anybody. The next group involves Black Panther. Again, they're about now 34 seconds ahead of us. And we have a group of 2 that are about 15 seconds behind us. So I certainly don't want to get caught by those other 2. And I'm not confident I can catch the Black Panther. It is now 11 minutes later and we're still on that same climb. We were caught by those other 2 that were 15 seconds back of us. The Black Panther has doubled his lead. He's now 1:06 in front of us, so I'm pretty confident I'm not going to be able to catch him. I have counted the other 3, and so now I'm trying to put in as much power as I can, and the power I'm generating is a lot lower than it was before. Before I was doing 300, and now I am not. I've built up to a 2 and 3 second gap from the others. And I'm dialing back right now because we seem to be on the flats, so I'm not going to be able to stay away from these guys on the flats. I'm pretty confident, so I'm dialing back, keeping it steady, and hopefully they'll stay. Maybe they're tired like I am, and they're going to stay 2 to 3 seconds behind me. So I don't know what's coming up. I'm hoping that was it for the climbing, but we have about just under 9 miles to go. The flat section I was on turned out to be a small flat section because I started climbing again. So I just jumped to about 7.6 miles to go, a little over, about 2 kilometers past where we were. And I put in another attack. We're just about an hour into this race and I'm still able to put out power when I need to, at least for the moment. Right now, I seem to be going based on the graphics in the upper left-hand corner, somewhere between threshold and my VO2 max. Threshold, again, is at 275. My VO2 max starts at about 290 watts. As I'm doing this, I'm looking at the clock. Or actually, I'm looking at the mileage. 7.5 to go. Am I going to be able to keep this up for the rest of the race? Jumping forward again, it is now under 6.5 miles to go. The nearest person to me is now 9 seconds behind me. And the others are about 14 and 15 seconds. The problem is, I've run out of legs. The leg work I'm doing in the gym is going to pay dividends for me. It did last year. Problem is, while I'm doing it, it's having a cost. And this is an example of it. With about 10K to go, I'm in 26th place. When I limp in, I'm down to 33rd. This race took me over 90 minutes, and my legs were worked. I could really feel it when I went to bed. They just felt agitated, even though I used the rolling pin on them. And I wasn't going light either. I did more threshold than I thought I was going to be doing in this race. And I actually had threshold scheduled for a climbing workout I'm going to be doing in 2 days. Now, and you're probably thinking that 2 days, that's enough. But remember, I'm 67. I'm an old guy. Everything just takes longer, including recovery. I'll be making a video of that workout, and I'm going to have a little surprise for you too. All right. You guys know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this. The Cycling Greek.